What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about 17 signs that you are a Canadian. So, as an American, I'm aware that there are some stereotypes of us. That's right, I've heard some stuff that we are, we're loud and we're overweight and we got guns. We got lots of guns and we're ignorant, especially about things outside of the United States. All of that good stuff. So today, I want to know, what are the things that identify someone as being Canadian? So I want to take a look at this video here called 17 Signs That You Are a Canadian. So let's take a look.
These are 17 signs you are a true Canadian.
Okay.
Number 1, you are proud of the maple leaf.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting one. I guess that's fair. I'm going to make some comparisons today between Canada and the United States, since I only know what it's like to be an American. We're proud of the U.S. flag and our colors and eagles and, U.S. symbolism. So the idea that Canadians are proud of the maple leaf, probably the most iconic image, symbol of Canada, that makes a lot of sense to me.
As the maple saps start flowing in spring, it brings new life to the people with a touch of ambrosia. They know that the days of cold and dark of the winter months are going to end, and they will not exhaust their food reserves. Besides this, the maple leaf stands as...
What? What did they just say? What? Something about Canadians, like, not exhausting your food reserves, like you're a bear going into hibernation, like you're a squirrel that's has your collection of acorns. Like, what are we what? Okay, anyway, can we get back on track? Maple leaves, yeah, it's a Canadian symbol.
Is a great symbol of Canadian identity. It is incorporated in...
I guess they were making some kind of analogy to the weather, the seasonality of maple leaves, like falling on the ground or changing color, or I don't know where they were going there. That distracted me a bit.
...into the national flag, and that makes every Canadian proud.
Here we go.
You can see the dynamic design of the Maple Leaf Books gold...
What? Wait a minute. That's not a maple leaf. That's one of them there weed leaves, right? I'm no expert on this, I swear, but I also could swear that's not a maple leaf. What is this? What are we doing here?
coins, banners, and many other items. Canadians swell in pride as they see the maple leaf. They love to fly it and think Canada is the best country in the world.
How did they, what? This video is a little strange. It's also oddly entertaining. I don't know who made, I think Learning Canteen made this video, I think. They got video, like Canadians. Do you sit in the park like this? Like kind of holding up the maple leaf, like physically a maple leaf, twirling it in your fingers, kind of contemplating. Ah, Canada. I thought we were just kind of talking about the flag, but okay.
Number 2, you love Tim Hortons like anything.
That's a weird way to phrase that. Is this whole video just going to be me kind of like wondering why this video is so strange, just in little ways? That's a weird way to say that. Is that just me? I think it's a weird way. You love Tim Hortons like anything? If you loved it like anything, it wouldn't be that special, because it's like anything. Are they trying to say you love Tim Hortons more than anything? I think. maybe that's an exaggeration, but I know Canadians, you guys have Tim Hortons, right? It's like this Canadian chain of coffee and donuts, right? Like a lot of people get coffee there. And I think it's like Dunkin' Donuts in America, except it actually sounds a lot more popular than Dunkin' Donuts. Here in America, like everybody has heard of Dunkin' Donuts, but you don't go there every day. I never go there, to be honest. People would rather go to McDonald's for coffee or Starbucks for coffee or some local joint. But Tim Hortons actually sounds like it's really, really, really freaking popular in Canada.
Canadians love Tim Hortons. Every Canadian outside Canada suffers from Tim Hortons withdrawal. It is their first stop on their way home from the airport when they return to Canada after visiting a foreign country.
Okay.
It is because Tim Hortons happens to be a cultural staple of Canada. Canadians also take their foreign friends to Tim Hortons first and order a double-double, which means 2 creams and 2 sugars. They wait for the reaction of the visitor after their first sip and get irritated when foreigners say it is just a coffee.
How does this guy know? Is this guy Canadian? He's talking like Canadians are some species of human or something like. The Canadian gets very angry when you do not properly appreciate Tim Hortons coffee quality. Yeah, even though I've read stuff on the internet where Canadians say Tim Hortons has gone downhill a little bit, but we won't get into that. This is like a Canadian staple. So the signs that you're a Canadian so far are that you love maple leaves. You might even twirl them in your finger while drinking Tim Hortons coffee. Got it.
A true Canadian downloads the Tim Hortons app while on a road trip. Number 3, you are not Americans.
Oh my God. See, I don't think Canadians would like this one. I'm American. I can't speak for Canadians at all, but just from what I've heard, I think, on the internet and stuff I've seen, Canadians you don't define your existence as not America. That's really selling Canada very short. Canada is defined by being its own country with its own culture and all these great things. It's not, and I mean, unfortunately, maybe this is something that people outside of Canada think about, where some people around the world are like, oh, Canada, yes, that's great that you are not America. Yes, I love, and they think about that a little bit, but I'm pretty sure Canadians don't, you guys don't want to be America, and you're probably proud to not be America, but you don't define yourself in that way. I don't know. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I don't want to talk for Canadians or anything. It's just what I think I've heard.
Nothing makes Canadians more annoyed than calling them an American. While it is easy to mistake them for Americans due to similar accents and cultures, Canadians take it personally when someone fails to recognize them as Canadians. They maintain that
how you can't take it that personally. Like, I understand if you want to be acknowledged as being what you are, Canadian, of course. Everyone wants to be acknowledged as what they really are, but you could easily see why it's hard to tell just by looking at somebody if they're Canadian or American. I mean, if you're just looking at somebody, you can't tell where they're from. Like, for the most part, you wouldn't know if they're from England or something, or from Scotland or Canada or whatever. But putting that aside, Canadians, I think this is really trying to say Canadians don't like being lumped in with America. That's what it's saying.
People should be able to spot them because of their nice mannerisms. When someone asks about Canada, they go to comparatives like we are nicer, colder, and have free healthcare. Despite the fact that they watch American TV and use American goods, still, they insist that they are visibly different from Americans.
What? There's no way Canadians insist that you're visibly different. Nobody can tell that you're nice just by looking at you. I'm not even like, I'm just saying as a fact, you can't just look at someone and be like, uh, Canadian. Yep. Like, what?
Number 4, you have your way of giving directions. Plenty of beer, wine, and liquor stores are there in every Canadian locality. It developed a typical Canadian habit of using the beer and liquor stores as landmarks.
What? You guys use beer and liquor establishments as landmarks for giving directions, like, oh yeah, that's down the street. Take a left after the beer store? The liquor store? Like that? Like, I'm surprised you guys don't use Tim Hortons as a landmark for giving directions. That would make sense.
A Canadian about any place, they will reply, go to that wine shop and turn right, you will find it there. Distance also meant something different for Canadians. Well,
what? Do you guys have a lot of liquor stores? I never even associated Canada or Canadians with alcohol, like more than any other place, really.
distance means how far a particular place is from the present position and is measured in kilometers, miles, meters, etc. Canadians have a different notion about distance. They always measure distance in terms of time. If you ask anyone where they live, the reply will be, it is about an hour's drive from here.
This is something that lots of Americans do. I do this. This is not necessarily a sign that you're Canadian. There's other, Americans do this. Say, yeah, that's about 20 minutes away. That's normal.
Is that true for you? Number 5, you love to talk about the weather. Canada witnesses a wide variation of seasons and temperatures. Daytime temperatures in Canadian summertime can go up to 35 degrees Celsius and above. During winter, it might go as low as minus 35 degrees Celsius.
I don't know what 35 means in Fahrenheit, but I know anything less than 0 is pretty freaking cold. Negative 35.
Canadians have plenty to talk about the weather for this reason, and they start and end their conversations with the weather.
What? Who came up with this list, by the way? I'd love to hear what Canadians have to say about this list. Is this accurate? In America, if you talk about the weather, that basically means you have nothing else to talk about. It's small talk. It's like you have nothing to say if you start bringing up the weather. It's not a good thing. Unless, like, something's actually happening with the weather.
One thing is sure, Canadians always have something to complain about the weather, even though they know that it is the winter season. They would say, it's a sunny winter day. God help us if it rains in winter, and like that.
What?
Number 6, you have some reservations about the metric system.
What? I thought everyone who uses the metric system loves the metric system. Because it makes so much sense. It's such a good system. Multiples of 10 and everything. I would have thought everyone... Who's complaining about it?
Canada started converting to the metric system in the 1970s. Still, you can find the use of the imperial system in several sectors of Canadian everyday life and economy. It is mainly due to the historical ties with the United Kingdom. While Canadians make fun of Americans for not following the metric system, Canadians are yet to fully convert them. The use of feet and pounds is common to denote height and weight in Canada. There seems to be no intention of full conversion to the metric.
That's interesting that you guys... I know you converted to the metric system not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. So you guys are kind of still using some imperial measurements. That's good for me as an American. I know what you're talking about with pounds and feet and stuff. This is really confusing to me, to be honest.
Metric system. Number 7, you know Canadian chocolate is the best.
Oh!
Canada boasts the best chocolate in the world as chocolate bars. They are not candy bars. Americans have their Nestle and the British have their Cadbury Chocolate Company, but Americans have no idea about the goodness of Dairy Milk, Caramilk, etc.
I have some idea. I've done videos where I got my hands on some Canadian chocolate. I've tried Canadian chocolate on this channel. It's good. It's very different. For me, it's an interesting experience. It's not as sweet as I'm used to. It doesn't like make me feel so full. Or if you eat American candy and American chocolate, you kind of get sick of it very quickly. Canadian chocolate goes down easier. It's like earthier. I'm not like some kind of, taste aficionado or something. But if I had to use words to describe it, it's like earthier, nuttier. It's an interesting flavor. Um, but that being said, I grew up on American chocolate. I know in other parts of the world, our stuff is considered like pretty disgusting. I've even heard it tastes like vomit to British people. Uh, I think our chocolate's actually good, but that's just me.
Staying in the middle ground, Canadian chocolates have all the good things. They grow up with every chocolate bar you can imagine, tasting exclusive Canadian brands like Coffee Crisp, Crispy Crunch,
Right.
Jersey Milk, and Wonder Bars.
What is a Jersey Milk and a Crispy Crunch? Jersey Bar. I've heard of a Coffee Crisp. What are all these?
Number 8, you get shocked to see cereal boxes in English only. As laid down in the Official Languages Act of 1967, English and French are the official languages of Canada.
We're really going out on a stretch here with this list. 17 signs that you're Canadian. One of the signs is that you're shocked when you see cereal boxes only in English. We're getting we're really going out on a limb here. That's very specific. When would a Canadian see you guys have English and French on everything, right? That's the law, I think. Here in America, it's all English. Sometimes on instructions and manuals for putting furniture together, you get like some Spanish or something. But yeah, for an American, totally normal. Yeah, I guess it would be a sign if a Canadian was like, hey, this is only in English. That's weird. When would that scenario happen, though, I guess, if you were in another country, an English-speaking country?
Accordingly, all labels in Canada, from soups to shampoos, are written in both French and English. The Canadian kids learn French
Right.
by reading the backside of the cereal.
What is it? What is... Why? Who chose the stock video in this video? I wanna shake their hand. Because they know how to pick stock video. Poop like a champion. What is this? Ultra fiber cereal. Huh. Not non-GMO. That's good.
Box. They learn the French words for honey, sugar, and free from there only. Most Canadians get surprised when they see cereal boxes in English only. Labels in English and Spanish almost stop their heartbeat.
What? This must be so funny to Canadians, because this is funny to me, and I'm American, and even I'm like, Canadians' heart stops when they see English. I doubt it. Isn't English on 50% of all your packaging?
Number 9, you can solve all problems with some coffee and snow boots.
Okay.
Canadians are coffee lovers. Canada has Tim Hortons, an almost ubiquitous coffee chain. It has become a part of the Canadian culture like hockey and maple syrup. If Canadians have a pair of snow boots and some coffee, they can accept any challenge.
Do you guys have snow boots? I do not own a pair of dedicated boots for snow. I don't even have boots. In America, in a lot of parts of America, especially the more south that you get, you can go the entire winter with your normal shoes. Like, a lot of us don't even barely go outside. That's something I learned, if Canadians, if you actually have big old snow boots, I guess that would make sense. I think Canadians are much more likely to actually venture outside in the wintertime than we are in America.
Coffee inspires them even when they are working around the ridge of snow at the end of the driveway. Number
Okay.
10, you say A.
Ah, finally, this is a good one. Finally, like an actually true good one. Not like that you like coffee and get scared by cereal boxes. You say this is true. Right? This is a stereotype that Americans have of Canadians, like that you guys say a. But I think there's a lot of truth to this stereotype. You guys really do say a, right? It's not. Maybe we exaggerate it a little bit, but this is a sign that you're Canadian for sure.
You hardly know why you always say a, but you have this habit. This interjection is a beautiful pointer to Canadian habits and gives Canadian English a distinguished identity from other dialects.
Yeah.
It has gone out of your control. You use it for different meanings, like excuse me, giving consent.
It's gone out of control? Okay. Yeah, I've actually done like a whole video dedicated to trying to learn about a. It means a lot of things. It can turn your statement into a question like sunny outside, eh? Like, right? Isn't that how you do it?
Etc. But you use it as a true Canadian. Number 11, you are comfortable with homo milk.
What? What? I mean, no judgment. That's great. Good for you guys. That's great. Homo milk. All right. Joking aside, this is a strange name if you're American. Is this a brand of milk in Canada? I think this is a type of milk. Because if you went around America saying this term, homo milk, it'd almost be like, people would just be confused. Let's put it that way.
If someone from outside Canada visits any grocery store in Canada, they would find homo milk everywhere. It means homogenized milk with a...
Oh. It means homogenized milk. I get it. We have that. That's common. We just call it milk. Like, I'm a little confused. On your packaging, does it say homo milk? Do you call it homo milk? Do you just call it milk? I will say, if you said homo milk, you would immediately, like, that would be a dead giveaway. You are Canadian. These are, it's true. These are big giveaways.
3.25% fat content. It is an acceptable type of milk in Canada, and it is normal for your spouse to ask you to pick homo milk on the way back home.
Really? Look at that. Look at this. It's right on the carton. Okay. Hey, this isn't in a bag. So you guys do have cartons.
Moms also say that their kids like homo milk. Number 12, you say beaver tails are delicious.
Beaver tails. This is like some Canadian snack or something. We do not have this in America.
It will surprise anyone from outside Canada. They would probably think that Canadians love the large fat tails of these unique amphibious rodents.
That is literally true. If you said that you want a beaver tail, that you love to eat beaver tails, most Americans would take it literal and be like, that's weird. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about Canada. Geez. It sounds kind of tough, kind of gamey. You know, but I won't judge, but no, it's like some kind of pastry or something.
Beaver Tails happens to be a Canadian restaurant chain. They specialize in pastries known as beaver tails. These are fried dough pastries that are stretched to look like beaver's tails. It is topped with syrup, ice cream, fruits, and other savory ingredients to make it delicious.
Okay.
What fun!
That is fun.
Number 13, you say sorry even when you have not done anything wrong.
This is the classic. This is the literal classic, maybe more than a. Americans associate Canadians with saying sorry, or as you guys say, sorry. You even pronounce it differently, which further perpetuates the stereotype. Is this a stereotype or is this true? Because I've heard the usage of a is common in Canada, and I've heard that you guys say sorry a lot, even for just menial things that don't even matter. Like, whereas in America, we really resist using sorry. Like, Americans don't like to say that word.
While this is slightly over-exaggerated, Canadians do believe in being nice and polite to everyone. These are embedded in Canadian culture. Canadians, as a result, have such an apologetic character that the term sorry has almost lost its true meaning. And
This would be a big giveaway that you're Canadian. I mean, especially if you said sorry. If you said sorry, like that, with that accent, dead giveaway. We'd spot you from a kilometer away. And also, like the narrator is kind of saying, in Canada, this is just normal. I guess if you bump into each other or whatever, you're just like, oh, sorry. In America, we'd rather say, excuse me, or oh, don't worry about it, you're fine, no problem. Anything to get around saying sorry.
become an involuntary response to a situation even if it is not necessary. Whether it is opening the door to a stranger while commuting to the workplace or giving support to a family, Canadians always demonstrate their empathy and authenticity.
That's good. By the way, that's great. Like I think that's a very admirable quality. Like for whether it's a stereotype, whether it's blown out of proportion, I don't care. It's a good quality that you guys have. That you're like empathetic and understanding and polite, like in this way. I think that's great.
Number 14, you have rolled up the rim to win. Ask.
Okay, I've heard this phrase before. I've definitely heard this phrase before. This is something with Tim Hortons.
Any Canadian, if they have rolled up the rim, they will always say yes and baffle you. There is nothing naughty in the phrase. It is a contest promoted by Tim Hortons, a Canadian coffee and donut chain of restaurants. When people finish their coffee, tea, etc., there they pop the lid off and roll up the pre-cut section of the rim of the cup. It reveals.
Which part? The rim. Because the rim is like beveled on top. We're not talking about the cap. We're talking about the top of the cup. You can like undo the paper or something. I think I understand what you're saying. And what happens?
The prize they have won. Or in most cases, the prizes they didn't win. I've lost count of how many times I've seen "Please play again" in these cups. Oh my goodness.
Here's a good example. So that top part, you can roll it up and there's like words there telling you if you won something. That's actually really good. I think I get it. That sounds really cool, actually. That sounds like a lot of fun. That's actually a very creative way to do that kind of contest.
Number 15, you brag about Canadian cold.
You brag about it. Do you brag about how cold it is, or do you brag about how you are able to withstand the cold? Because that is impressive.
Canada without cold is a foreign place. Once again, it is slightly exaggerated as our summers can have just as extreme heat depending on where in Canada you live, but our winters, especially further north, are why Canadians always brag about the Canadian cold.
What do you mean you brag about it? Like I understand if you complain about it, or if you're like, oh my god, it's freezing. But why this word brag? Who's gonna brag about being cold? That's not something to brag about.
I do not believe that any place outside Canada could be cold. Everybody has their own story. Some would say their uncle instantly froze to death at the doorstep as he was not wearing proper clothes.
Who wrote this? Who freaking came up with this?
Number 16, you love poutine.
Oh, poutine. Yeah. I've heard about this. I know of this. This is the fries with the cheese and gravy. And I'm still on the fence about it. I really want to try poutine. I really do. Because I think it could be really good. I like the idea. I've never had cheese with gravy. But I've had gravy with potatoes, which is like fries. I've had cheese with fries, but never all together. I actually think it's really sounds pretty good.
It is the nectar for all Canadians, and they get irritated when someone asks what poutine is.
The nectar of Canadians. My God, this is poetry. Do all Canadians like poutine? Is this like, where do you get it? You know, is that, maybe that's a dumb question, but like, where do you buy it from? Who has it? Is it just everywhere? Does everyone love this?
Canadians pity those who have not tasted this delicious dish made of French fries with cheese curds and gravy. It is the nectar of Canadian life and the ultimate comfort food.
Why? Why do we have to keep using that word? The nectar of Canada.
Number 17, you recognize diversity as a strength.
I've heard Canada is very diverse and very multicultural. You got a lot of different foods. Canada has a lot of immigration. I've heard a bit about this.
Canada has a multicultural society even before the integration of multiculturalism into Canadian law in the 1980s.
Wow.
Because of this, Canadians value different perspectives brought by individuals of diverse backgrounds in every sphere of life and work. Generation after generation, Canadian children get accustomed to hearing different languages on the playground. They believe that diversity made the country true north, strong, and free.
That's cool. You know, diversity is great. It's a fine line because I know a lot of countries now are having all these issues with like immigration or like too much immigration, which is a really controversial subject. And you wanna have diversity and you want to let people into your country who are gonna contribute and add a different perspective, but you also want to have something that identifies your culture as well, while also assimilating great things about other cultures. And yeah, it's cool. And it's great to hear that Canada prioritizes that.
The above is a compilation of some of the Canadian traits. Being Canadian is a challenge, especially in the winter. Canada has enormous diversity.
Okay, they're just doing a recap. We got through it. 17 different signs that you're Canadian. This list was like very entertaining, not for the reasons they meant. This video kind of got off the rails a couple times. That's okay. I definitely learned some things about Canadians. What? You love the Maple Leaf. You love Tim Hortons. You're not Americans. You talk about the weather. You have reservations about the metric system. Is that true? Canadian chocolate is the best in the world. Is that true? Do you think that? You're shocked to see cereal boxes in English. That sounded made up. You can solve all problems with coffee and snow boots. You say A, yes. You have homo milk, yes. Beaver tails is a thing. You say sorry, yes. The roll up the rim thing. And you brag about it being cold. I don't know if you brag so much as just it's a statement of fact. And have diversity. All right, cool. There were a lot of signs here, a way to identify Canadians and Canadian culture. Maybe some of this was exaggerated, I don't know. But as an American, this is a fun little way to kind of learn about Canada and what you're all about. So I enjoyed it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like. Or leave a comment, especially if you're Canadian and you want to clarify if these are accurate, if these are signs that you're Canadian, what you thought about this. That'd be fun to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching. And see you next time.